I always tell myself I'm going to write an opening, and I had plenty of time, and then I just didn't write an opening. So Gary, you can cut out whenever you want of this edit out stuff or start here. I don't know. Welcome everyone to another episode of Dragon Calamity. I have no idea what episode number this will actually end up being titled because I have lost count. Because I wasn't really keeping track. Today we will be starting our second mission with this group, and we have all of our players joining us. Let's see. Let's start with Ian. How's it going?
Doing pretty good. Just on my way to Miami.
On your way to where?
Miami.
Miami. Oh, I honestly had no idea where you were traveling.
Yeah, I was in New Orleans this past weekend, heading to Miami this weekend.
That sounds fun. Florida's nice-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in Pensacola right now, so we're like on the beach.
Ooh,
So.
I've been there. Fun stuff. Kyo, how are you? Hello.
Hello, I am here as a former denizen of Florida. Now can't stand it because there's beach and it's sand and it's coarse and it gets in everywhere.
It's coarse and it's irritating. It gets everywhere.
People, basically.
Same. Sandy, how's it going? How are you? How's New York treating you?
I'm good. It's going good. I'm in New York right now still. Coming back to Georgia next week. So yeah, I'll be back home in a week.
It's fun. We got people spread out all over the place. Soul, are you still at home? How are you doing?
I'm good. Good. Ready to play.
Alrighty. With that, we will go ahead and jump on into some gameplay then. So where we left off, let's get some recap going. Actually, let's everybody earn you some DM inspiration. Who wants to start us off? Give me a little bit of recap and earn some stuff.
Jess continues to hate Kaylin with every fiber of her being. And she is now doing this on purpose because she's moderately certain Jess can't kill her without repercussions. We'll find out. But look on your face was just like, you keep messing around, you're gonna find out.
I was like, oh no, she's cracked the code. She's cracked the code. You're not totally wrong.
Again, without major repercussions. And it's like, is killing her worth the paperwork I'm going to have to do afterwards?
I mean, Jess does not care for paperwork.
Nobody does, which is fair. I hate paperwork too. That's all I got. Go ahead, guys.
I guess I could go next. So I came in and saw the green dragons that we had heard about, and some of y'all had already seen, and I was very interested in them, and Jess wanted to teleport them to some kind of dragon sanctuary, and I was just very suspicious about the whole thing. After that, we came back home. We met up with the elephant guy. I don't remember his name. Garfunkel or something. Yeah, that's it.
Did you just say gargle?
I said Garfunkel.
Garfunkel. I thought you said gargle. I was like, Gollum the Revered.
Gollum the Revered. That's his name. We met up with him, and he offered us essentially a role as like that, almost like a task force that deals with dragon-related stuff, since we know about them, and they don't really want to get anybody else involved with that. So, which we all agreed. Then we all had little clandestine talks afterwards, like one-on-one, where we were just like, yo, kind of like fuck these guys, but we don't want to fuck with them if we don't have to, but like let's just keep an eye and just know who's on whose side when the time comes. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened last game.
Yeah, Soul, recap some of these clandestine talks.
Sorry, recap. What did you say?
Recap some of the clandestine talks.
Oh. Well, Zarolka just simply made a pact with the rest of the party, just in case these dragons get out of control, as we don't know what the guild plans on doing with them. So we have that and we established. Other than that, yeah, nothing else truly occurred. Besides Xander speaking to the farmer and talking a little, almost got himself into a little bit of a pickle there. But the farmer just sort of brushed it off, as he just wanted those whatever the dragon's gone. So, yeah.
All right, Sandy, it's down to you. What do you remember?
Well, Ms. Ms. basically knows Jess, and from a prior encounter and memory, he's a little I want to say upset, but he can tell that Jess has some disdain for the type of work some of us do, or prior work that we did. And with the farmer, there was a back and forth where the farmer didn't really believe us and he was trying to pick apart our answers, even though he's just a simple farmer. Why does he care? Why is he going so deep into our answers? Yeah, it was pissing off Miz pretty a lot. He was pissing off Miz for a second. There was a good chance that he might have actually killed the farmer, but that didn't come to that. Um, that's about
Murder
it.
hobos.
That I think everyone else said everything else.
I mean, to be fair, he's a nosy old farmer with nothing else to fucking do out in the country than to be nosy.
Well, why would he be nosy about dragons? Just take the answer we gave you. Take the
he
fact
did.
yeah, but you kept
In the end.
poking around. Stop being
Well,
nosy.
no, because Xander was just really bad at lying about it because he was
Yeah.
brandishing the proof that we had killed the dude, and it's just like
That is true.
Xander kind of messed up his deception. And don't forget, we got a sending stone to Jess, and Xander has it.
Zoroka has it.
I thought you gave it to
I gave it back.
Yeah, I think because during the clandestine talks, I think Zeroko just kept passing it off to somebody so that there was no risk of being listened in on, right?
Correct.
That's what you didn't say it, but that's what I kind of assumed you were doing.
Same.
Which is
Kinda
smart.
where I was at with it too.
I didn't think about that being a possibility, but I'm glad you did. Playing a high intelligence character well. Right. So, before we just launch into the next mission, you guys in game had a day or two off. You got a bunch of hush money. Anything of note that you would have done, or just kind of your daily routines on your day off. You don't have to go into anything, but I also don't want to skip over everything if there was something of note that you wanted to do or say you've done.
Kaylin went to the library.
What exactly was Kaylin looking at?
You mean who? Oh crap! Let me go find her. Nope, that's that one specifically. Oh dang it! I can't find the actual notes where I put all of my character backstory stuff in it. No, the Air Genasi chick.
I know who you were talking about. Does she? Okay, so she works at the library, or is she just there a lot?
I think for her, she actually works there a lot. Let's see. Oh, Tai Lao. That's what her name was.
I've added that note. Okay. So, Kaylin was off being a thirsty bitch. Got it. I mean, I'm here for it. I can't judge.
Yeah, you can.
Not going to. 2 songs, but
down by the river, hanky panky.
Okay, so that's what you were doing. Anyone else do anything?
I think, what was it? There was something I wanted to buy. think I wanted to go ahead and buy the Ring of the Goat and the Adder Stone. Just have both of those.
I think those were
Uh,
last week's items, so I don't remember.
they were.
Okay.
Yeah.
This would be the time. Also, if you wanted anything from this week's items, now would be the time to go ahead and declare you have bought them, because you will not have an opportunity once you go into get your mission for once. And I wanna give you that heads up. Maybe on your way in, you stopped and you're like, oh, what does Larry Pitter have today? You don't have to buy anything. They're very silly
don't-
items this week.
I don't think anyone's given off gonna get any of the items this week.
Which is fair. They're silly items. You're all still low levels, so like the great items come in later when you're higher level and they're not OP.
I'll take the comb.
The comb of hair shaping. Running this comb through your hair allows you to change the length, color, curliness, and style of your hair. After running the comb through your hair is also cleaned and has a pleasant fragrance of the DM's choosing. I will let you choose.
So like any time I do it, it can be a different scent or.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Also, quick question about the 12 option on these jelly beans. It says you get double your usual amount of actions. That means I get 2 standard actions, 2 bonus actions, 2 move actions. Like, is that what it's saying?
It would just be, it's basically haste.
Okay, gotcha.
So just 2 actions. You wouldn't get an extra bonus
Gotcha.
action.
Gotcha. Understood.
But there is so the jelly beans have some fun results, but also players have gotten the not fun results immediately before a large battle. And it is quite unfortunate if a caster who uses a lot of spells with a verbal component end up with number 3, where for the 10 minutes the only word you can say is Gygax, because then you cannot cast any spells with a verbal component, because that verbal component is not going to be the word Gygax. So that is something to consider.
What if you were to like just take a handful of the jelly beans and eat them? Do you get like that amount? Do you roll the dice that amount of times to get all of those different effects?
Yes. And I would let
Cool.
you re-roll, but I mean there is poison and other stuff on there, so yeah.
I'm not gonna buy them. I was just curious about them.
I mean rule of cool with this shit. So I mean they're silly little items for silly little fun times. And it is up to you how silly you want to play with them. It is not quite as detrimental as the deck of many things, but it is quite silly. But there's benefits.
And we got how much last week for our hush money? It was 30 platinum a piece.
I think it
Is
was.
that
I thought it was 10
what?
platinum.
We got 200 gold apiece.
Yeah,
So 20.
it was 20 platinum.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I'm not gonna be like a stickler, like, oh, you can't just go shopping with platinum. Nobody's gonna have that much change. Blah blah blah. It's whatever. I don't care to nitpick.
And as far as like regular items go, like non-magical equipment, are we good to pretty much buy anything as long as we just spend its normal value amount, like
Yeah, pretty
armor
much.
and stuff like that? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Dragon Glen is the capital city, so they're gonna have pretty much whatever. And if you let me know what it is, it's quite possible they might have it at the guild also in their supply room, where you can buy or rent it from the guild at possibly a discount. Not a huge discount, but closer to wholesale. If it's like basic equipment.
I will let you know here in just a moment because I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of things like that.
Okay. Did Ms. do anything? I know you said you checked the bounty board, so, talking about previous occupation sounds like it's more of a current side occupation.
Yeah. I'll agree with that sentiment.
Okay. We'll say that you took a couple of bounties, took a look around, and I might say that you find someone at some point in those. So if you consistently between missions continue to go and check bounty boards, may or may not start seeing people around town that are on the bounty boards. So that is something to keep in mind. I'm imagining there's other stuff that I've kind of messaged you about a little bit, with different contacts and information channels and stuff like that Miz is also keeping up with.
Yep.
And what about Zeroka?
He's simply. I mean, you said how many days have passed?
Like 1 or 2.
Or two? Yeah. So since we technically leveled up, he's just been reading the new scrolls. The new scrolls that he got to memorize for the new spells.
Yeah, and one of the benefits of being with the guild is that they do let you reference different spells that you would have access to at your current level. So I'm not going to be nitpicky like, oh, you would never know this, that, or the other spell. It's like, if you want it, rules is written, they're going to have what you need to copy down. They're very generous like that. They want their guild members to succeed. I mean, as far as most spells, I know once you get into the higher level stuff, there's probably some shiftier spells that probably not great. I don't know if they would have all the necromancy stuff, but
How much would the guild have a set of studded leather armor, and how much would they charge for it? Normally 45 gold.
They would probably give it to you for 35. Because you said it's normally 45 gold.
That's right.
Yeah, they'd sell it to you for 35. Definitely has the guild emblem on it though.
Fine.
Like a tramp stamp though, I imagine. Like it's on the lower back portion of it. Little tramp stamp. The Dragon Glen Forcers logo on there. It's like guild brand armor. It's not any worse.
That's fine. I wear a cloak. Nobody sees it.
There you go. So it doesn't matter in the end.
In that case, Kaylin will get a hand crossbow from the guild, and they are normally 75.
They would do probably 63. I'm kind of doing like arbitrary numbers. I don't know. All right. Anything anyone else wants to add before we move on to what happens next?
You're great, and we appreciate you.
Speak for yourself. No, I'm just kidding.
That's fine. I don't expect everybody to share all the warm fuzzies. That's fine. All right. So it is another morning that you've been called into the guild hall. I'm going to say, for convenience sake, you all arrive at around the same time. And when you walk in, Henga gives you all, standard good morning and motions to the stairs, but kind of in an almost over dramatic way, and says, once again, your VIP group is requested in the conference room. And points up at the stairs.
Thank you, Hanga. Your deference in this situation is much appreciated. And I give her a wink.
She gives like a little exaggerated half bow, like, of course.
I like her.
She is, in fact, the best. There's almost no one more loved and protected in this guild than the Lady Henga.
All right. You all head up to the conference room. Boop you on over there. And as you head up, you see two people already standing around the table, kind of waiting and looking at some maps that are spread out. At the head is the dwarven figure of Denmere Mountain Fury, that most of you have seen, if not said hello to at some point. She is one of the guild council members. You see she's dressed in nice but kind of casual clothes today. Her dark hair is in a braid, and you see her brown eyes are very serious. Next to her on the other side of the table, you also see a tall, almost gangly looking elven man with graying auburn hair and kind green eyes behind big circular glasses that hide the beginning of crow's feet and a few wrinkles here and there. He's wearing a nice brown coat that's just a little out of style but seems in pristine shape, and you see the rest of his clothes are extremely high quality but the muted darker tones and lack of embellishments or flashy accessories make it seem like he's trying not to flaunt his wealth and almost not attract extra attention. Those of you who have met or really just seen him around before know that this is Fredbin Winfear, one of the most accomplished and affluent wizards in the realms. And you also see in front of him on the table is a flying monkey with a ring of levitation on its tail, who quickly moves between you and the fruit platter on the table, trying to block your access to the fruit platter.
Like, oh.
Both Fredbin and Denmere look up at you, and Fredbin looks a little surprised, like he wasn't expecting to see your particular group, but Denmere speaks first and says, "Good morning, you lot. Hope you're ready to get right into it." Fredbin just says, "Oh, yes, good morning."
What's on the docket?
Oh, well, you see, um, we have a little bit of a situation here. And Denmere kind of like gives him like a little bit of a dismissive wave, like she's gonna take over the talking, and says, "Well, I think we've all met. I'm Denmere Mountain Fury. This gentleman here, whose reputation precedes him, is none other than the famous Fredbin Winfear." Um, and he looks a little embarrassed, but gives you like a little awkward kind of nod, almost bow, and he says, "And Fredbin, this is let me see if I can remember right. Ms. Xander, I think Zeroka. You got a lot of Z names, and I think I've heard a little bit about you. That's Kaylin, right?"
Yeah. Ooh, I hate you in these country accents because I want to slide into it so bad.
Okay, so I was gonna do like the traditional cliche Scottish accent, but it's real bad. It's worse. It's real bad for me. I'm not.
I mean,
good at
I
it.
wouldn't. I wouldn't adopt it. Yes, ma'am. I am in fact Kaylin. For all that you said, you didn't remember. You got them all correct.
Um, Fredbin kind of gives you all a little smile and says, "Yes, well, pleasure to meet you all. Let us skip other formalities for now, since time is unfortunately of the essence." Um, and he looks at the map that is on the table, and he kind of waves his hand over it, and it suddenly pops up and becomes a 3D map, kind of a projection in the air. And you see the terrain that it projects. It's swampy and kind of a wooded area, but the center of it is an encampment up on a small but steep hill. He says, "This is the encampment that we need to enter. There is a baby black dragon that was just taken there today. My scrying showed it is in quite poor health, and we cannot tell how long the people there will stay. So we do need to get it as soon as possible before it gets any worse or gets moved to possibly another location." Dinmere butts in and says, "The goal here is diplomacy. We are hoping they can be dealt with. I'm prepared to authorize funds to buy their silence so we can relocate the dragon to the sanctuary, and no matter what Jess tries to tell you, violence probably isn't the answer here. We don't want to risk anything happening to the dragon." And she kind of like eyeballs all four of you, like, who's going to object to this? Like, just a very serious look.
Jack, no, I'm just kidding.
Kaylin tries her hardest to not glance at Miz, but still kind of glances at him anyway. If the one most likely to just to get with the stabbing.
Yeah, Denmere notices this pretty quick, and kind of narrows her eyes just a little bit, glancing between Kaylin and Miz, like, oh, now she knows who to look at. Now she knows who to watch. Fredbin says, "Yes, well, Denmere might not be able to attend, but I would like to go with you on this. And while negotiations aren't really my strong suit, I can at least teleport us directly there, and, if things do go wrong, heaven forbid, I could, you know, use some spells to protect the dragon. I'm not really what you would call a combat wizard, so, I would very very much like to avoid any kind of, physical or any other sort of altercation, as it were." And you can tell just at the mention of that, he just looks a little nervous, like he hates the idea. Once Denmere brought up violence, he's like, "Oh no, I do not want this." um, he has a very strong. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, it's just Lady Dendermere. What are we allowed to give them if we are metaphorically speaking from the guild? For the guild, sorry.
We'd be willing. We don't really know how many people are going to be there, so between a few dozen. So start kind of low. See if like 20 gold a person will kind of buy some silence. Because I mean, we also got to remember, dragons have been gone for a long time, so bunch of people start spouting off about seeing a dragon. Not everybody's gonna believe them, but we can stop the rumors for as long as possible. But start with 20, and we're willing to authorize up to 1,000 gold total.
Okay. But if negotiations go poorly, not saying that they will, we will do our best. Are we authorized? Or correction, are we theoretically supposed to remove the problem of them talking to anybody?
You just see Fredben look kind of horrified, and Denmere just listen. I'm not going to give you, permission to go and kill a bunch of people or anything. If you get attacked first, you can defend yourselves, but I would prefer our guild members don't have a bunch of blood on their hands. Try not to kill anyone is what I'm saying. No, you don't have permission to just go and kill everyone if things go bad. But I'm not going to say you have to just sit there and get killed.
Just making sure. I will do my best.
Miz just kind of gives like a groan, a little noise I made earlier.
Which is the reason it's like Kaylin. It's like being in school and you have like the one student who won't actually ask any questions, and then the one that will for that person. So it's like, no, Kaylin is asking for Miz because she knows where his mind is going. It's like, at what point are we allowed to just get with the violence?
I was talking to someone about this before we started, and I was like, see, the real challenge is not combat this session, but the challenge is how long they can go without combat. That is the real challenge. It's self-control is the challenge. That's the difficult part of this mission for them, is self-control.
Miz has a very, very short leash.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware. I'm aware. If you think this mission has always gone great, you are wrong. Anything else anyone wants to add?
Mm.
Fredben says, well, once we do get there, I do have some little, spies that I can send out to make sure that there's only one dragon. Do a little bit of reconnaissance, get a count. But for everything else, I suppose we will just have to rely on Jess for the rest of the information. Denmere says, yep, your goal here is to approach the camp, see what it's going to take to get the dragon from them safely, and, camp of this size, anywhere between a few and a few dozen people in it, and most of them, if this doesn't go well, will probably put up a fight. But I do want you to at least try to make this peaceful first, so, I mean, it's up to you if you want to do sneaky, if you want to do some lying. I'm not saying you can't lie to them to get in. So you can do whatever you want. I just would appreciate it if you would try to go a peaceful route first. Kind of obligated to say that, I suppose.
Kayla's just like, you picked the wrong group for that, but okay. not out loud. It's just, ooh, you picked the wrong group.
Yeah. Fredben is trying to get a read on everyone and just looking increasingly nervous. He is a well-known pacifist. He does not like violence at all. And Denmere sets out on the table for everyone. They are earrings of sending. So they're basically like walkie-talkies but they're earrings and they're magic. There is a limited range, but it's they still got a pretty good range. And she hands those out, so now everyone is connected to everyone else via earrings. And then she picks up a sending stone from underneath one of the maps and speaks into it and says, "Do you have visual yet?" And there's a pause, and then you hear Jess's voice come back through the stone, and she says, "Yes, I can't tell how many are intense, but some are packing up to leave, so we do need to hurry. Got 1 to 2 dozen total from my guess, but I can't tell which one is the leader yet. Only pack animals so far, but we can't rule out any surprises. Looks like there's a big covered cage inside the entrance to the right, and that should be where the dragon is. If it's not, then it's probably in one of the tents. I would assume the big one on that higher ledge. Put in the cubby what you need to teleport down the road a little bit to come in quietly, so hurry up." Denmere pulls out of a little pouch on her hip what looks like a small doorknob with nothing really on the end. It's just basically a doorknob. She walks over to the wall next to the door and places the end of it, and it kind of seems to stick to the wall. She twists and pulls it, and you see cracks in the wall appear in the shape of a small door, and about a 2 by 3 foot door just appears on the wall, and inside is a few shelves. On the middle one, there's a small canvas pouch. She pulls it out, shuts the door, and removes the doorknob, and it looks like the door was never there. She dumps it on the table in front of Fredbin, and you see it's a few rocks, some twigs, and a few leaves, which mostly Zeroka would be more aware, but it is used to triangulate the teleport spell a little bit more accurately, so you don't accidentally end up a mile away from your destination. And Fredbin kind of gathers them up and says, "Perfect. This combined with the map and what I scried earlier should get us right where we need to be. Is everyone ready to go?"
Sure.
Yeah.
I am ready.
Denmere says, "Don't forget, diplomacy first." And she looks right at Ms. and Kaylin like, come on.
I'm just imagining that meme. I have a plan. We can't do murder. I no longer have a plan.
That's probably too accurate. She says, "Try to get that dragon without a fight, even if Jess says otherwise." And
Wait. Can I repeat that to her later? That you said? And Caitlin just has the biggest grin of like, please say yes.
Denmere just kind of rolls her eyes and says she knows my stance on this.
Even if it will kill me, I will now do this in the most pacifistic way possible. Out of just pure spite because it's gonna make her mad.
Fredbin is struggling on how to feel about this because there's looks going and he's not sure how serious Kaylin is being. And he casts the teleport spell, and you are all teleported. You are teleported to a wooded path, but you see through the trees. There's a camp up ahead of you where you are headed. And just like on the map, it is a small hill surrounded by a tall wooden fence. And you don't really see anyone outside of it, so you don't believe it is being guarded from the outside. And I will put you on that, so you might have to zoom out a little bit. It's kind of a slightly larger map. But and you're not exactly where I have placed you on that, just because the map was only so big. We'll say you're another couple 100 feet away, but you are able to see up here is the entrance. And basically it's a tall wood fence, but you can see through certain little slivers, little gaps. So you can see on the interior of the camp. There is a handful of tents and a fire over here, a couple carts. And you can definitely see movement inside as people are moving around and the occasional voice kind of traveling through the air. Occasional laughter. Like it doesn't sound like everybody's being super serious, but it does sound like you hear things here and there of people probably packing up. Um, this is the challenging part. What are you all doing now?
Out of character, who is charisma based, and or who actually has skills in persuasion, intimidation, or deception?
I got persuasion. That's kind of my thing. Yeah.
I have
+5 in
persuasion and
persuasion.
deception.
I have stealth. I have +8 on stealth.
I have deception and stealth and all that stuff.
I got stealth too.
Sneaky.
Hooray! Well, I have deception and persuasion, so
What's your deception?
6.
Okay, yeah, it's higher than mine. I have a +5.
It's also 6.
Well, thankfully, we're not deceiving them. We are probably, well, correction, are we going to try to deceive them? Or are we literally just going to be like, hey, here's some money for your special cargo?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine with me. If it gets any faster, sure.
Cool. Does anyone want to helm the talking part?
I'm gonna sneak. I'm gonna try and hide around the fortress somehow. And if shit goes south, I'm gonna kill people.
I know what Xander's gonna do too.
Oh, the two of you just gonna go around?
Yeah, just be kind of prepared for shit to go south if it needs to. If it not,
Yeah.
yeah, if it does.
Yeah, I mean we're on the road, so I guess that kind of works. That's kind of our thing, and to sneak around.
Cool. I guess Fredben, you said this when we arrived. You'd be able to send out a helper or little spies to figure out how many, who, when, where, all that stuff. Can you do that while we figure out how the fuck we're going to do this?
So he was already reaching into the sleeve of his jacket, and kind of like there is some sort of extra planar pocket inside of it. He pulls out 3 very small items. They look almost like little metal toys. One is a snake, one is a spider, and one is a little sparrow. All of them kind of spring to life, little bird flitting up to hover a little bit. And he pulls out, again from his sleeve, a little vial of dust of disappearance, kind of sprinkles it over them, and they all disappear. And you can hear just the faint flitting of the sparrow as it takes off. You can see here and there just a little trail in the dirt where the little snake was going. No trace of the spider. It is super sneaky. And he says, yes, well, in just a moment, they should be able to infiltrate and give us a better look. So I will be looking through their eyes while you all figure this out. Like I said, unfortunately, not great at diplomacy. I'm better at magic and books than people.
Aren't we all? Well, if we were to find the location of the dragon, do you have some ability to, I guess, make your way into the camp and just leave with it hidden? Like teleport it somewhere, or like we can distract them long enough for you to just go and do that?
Well, I mean, stealth would be someone else's forte more than mine. And I imagine there would probably be enough protections on the cage that you would need a key. I don't imagine they're just, slapping it in the kind of cage you would just put a regular dog in or something like that. It is a dragon, and a black dragon at that. So, it has its breath weapon and all of that to contend with. Um, and also quite high value. So I think it would be a little bit more protected than something I could just pop into and pop out of. But kind of puts his hand to the earring and says, but Jess, what about you? Do you think you could, do that? Stealth in there and all of that. Jess pauses and says, well, I mean, if I do that, you're going to have to distract pretty well for a little while unless you can tell me who has the key. Then I'm going to have to pick the locks, and if they have an alarm on them, that's going to take me extra long to get around. And it's going to end up being a mess.
This whole thing is going to end up being a mess, but we are going to do our best. Well, why can't magic ever be convenient when we need it to be? Okay.
Because I want you, the players, to do stuff. Don't leave the NPCs to do everything. I want you to do things. That's not it.
Why would you give us a superpowered wizard NPC? Rude.
Oh, he's not going to fight. He's a pacifist. You think he's going to fight? He's a fucking scribe wizard. You think he's got that much useful shit?
Bitch, sleep is a spell.
It is, but not something someone like Fredben has prepped. He's a pacifist. Why would he go in and start exerting his will over other people? That would be wrong, immoral even. That's not Fredben's way.
No. Putting them to sleep means that you can run away.
Yes, but it's not how Fredben does stuff. He doesn't like to influence people in that way. His influence is more of an intellectual debate at most.
You have the audacity, bitch. Okay. Does anybody have any other ideas? Because mine is just the simple walk up and start a conversation.
That's good enough, really. It doesn't have to be as complex. Literally just keep them talking and distracted.
Well,
come on. Come up with something. You make it fun. We're here for fun.
Oh no.
It's a fun
Are we here
game.
for your fun? Are we here for your fun?
Everyone's fun.
Aha. She's gonna try to kill us.
I don't think you could do much worse than the previous group. It's fine.
You say that right now.
Don't. No, Kaylin is determined to do this now because it's going to piss off Jess.
Negotiations broke down real fast.
We'll
see if you last longer than the other group did.
Zeroka is going to go with Miz and Xander and try to scope out. Yeah.
Okay, you're scoping out. Okay, I was about to say you're all just abandoning Kaylin to be the one person, just one lone elf wandering up like, hey.
I mean, why not?
That's fine. If you're just scouting, I was just like, wow, you're just
because she's gonna say fuck it and run. She has way better GTFO skills than the rest of you.
Because I think Xander, Miz, and Zeroka have the highest stealth. Since I have a +6.
Say
I have a +9. Also have advantage on stealth checks.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and roll me a new character because this is not gonna end well. I guess Kayla's gonna turn to Fredman. Do you think your little friends could figure out which one of those idiots has the key?
Well, they are still looking around. The Sparrow has located the dragon, which is, in fact, just inside of the front door, that big gate over there, a little bit to the right, about 15 feet back, kind of straight north from there. But it does look like there are, in fact, people near it.
So we know exactly where the dragon is? We know
yes,
if we
basically.
Were to,
so, basically, about there.
Okay. Out there. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, what do you guys want to do?
Well, if all of you are abandoning Kaylin to go scout out stuff.
At this point, I am going to be stealthing.
I'm going to hide over here. Literally hide. Hold on. There you go. In the bush, I go.
Okay. Into the bush. Into the thick of it.
Look over at Xander and Xander walk back, and Zeroka looks and he's like,
so, what's the plan?
Well, apparently the rest of you are abandoning me as I go to talk to these people. I don't know what the backup plan is going to be now, unless we figure out who has the key for the dragon's cage and deal with all the people that are also in that room. But I will do my best to keep them as distracted as I possibly can. But I don't know what everyone else is going to do.
Zeroka looks at Xander and he's like,
Xander, do you think you can perhaps get to a certain vantage point to scope to see if there's any possible way in?
I think I could do that. Um, do I see any type of like raised area or anything like that around this camp?
A lot of the trees kind of closer to it aren't that big, but further away, there are definitely some bigger trees, but you would be looking at about 100 feet away for any trees that would give you any sort of visibility over kind of into the campsite.
All the walls.
The walls are about 7 feet. They're not
Okay.
super thick. They look like, I wouldn't say hastily constructed, but they were not put up with a ton of thought put into them. It was just kind of like, okay, slap together a wall to put around this so that our guys are protected. And
Okay.
also out of sight for whatever shady business they're doing.
Zeroka then looks and he starts to wonder if he should make a distraction on the other side while just a minor distraction, like in terms of making a sound of an animal or something, while Xander or anybody else can get a look over that pillar.
I mean, that would might not be a bad idea.
All right, so Zeroka looks and he's like,
Well, I can cause a distraction while you peer over that fence over there, if it's possible. I'll cause an animal, an owlbear type roar, and seemingly try to hide in the distance. Sounds fair enough.
That works for me.
Good. It would allow us to get an advantage in terms of where exactly the dragon is and how many people are surrounding it. Well, they're hopefully distracted.
Doesn't Fredbin's animal friend know that information? Don't we know where the dragon is?
well, we know
Yes.
where the dragon is. We don't know how many people are around it, right?
He said there's at least one person. But the information he would also give you is, I mean, there's people wandering around, packing up and stuff. So, kind of people wandering in and out of that area. So it's not like it is a set number of people. Like there's people moving around. Because there are also there's a cart kind of next to it, which is big enough to put it on. That is empty, so it may or may not be used for that. And then just inside the door, kind of to the left, are some other big carts that are being loaded up, which are within 15 feet of the cage. So pretty close.
Hmm.
So is Xander going and getting a higher vantage point?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Make a stealth check for me while you do that.
Okay. 19.
You're pretty sure
Okay.
you are stealthy.
I am going to make a noise in this location
Over there? Okay.
right here,
And
with minor illusion.
you got it.
With an
So,
owl roar.
are you doing that to kind of cover up Xander peeking in?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
So we'll say Xander found a good tree to climb up into. What I'm gonna do, because I don't want to remove the barrier for everyone's vision, is I'm just gonna briefly move your token into the camp so you can kind of take a little look-see around, and then I'm gonna move your token back out. So
Okay.
this is kind of what you see.
All right.
So lots of people kind of moving around, packing up stuff. And that motherfucker right there looks to be a very large Minotaur man in full armor, and he seems to be kind of taking command of everything. And you all now kind of, as you're getting a little closer and everything, hear the voice of this man kind of barking orders, and it seems like he is the one in charge. That is what you see. Let me know when you're good, and then I'll move your token back.
Seeing like maybe, what is it, 13 people?
Handful of people, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Do I see where the dragon's at?
Yeah, so you would have seen over here. It looks like a cage covered in a bunch of blankets and stuff.
Got it.
Kind of keeping it out of the line of sight. So looking at it like that, it's pretty difficult to see what is in it. So looking around, you're not exactly sure everyone knows what they're transporting, because there's a bunch of other various goods. No other creatures being transported, but you might venture to guess not everyone knows exactly what's in that very hidden crate. So not everybody might know.
Gotcha.
Ooh, make a perception check for me. At that distance, it would be at disadvantage. See if you notice something.
All right. 11.
You would notice all of the people there seem to be in good shape. All of them have at least one weapon on them. This is not a ragtag group. This is not just farmer that picked up a sword and said, I'm gonna make it on my own being a bandit. This is, from what you can tell, these are people that came here ready to fight or defend themselves. And none of them look like they are lacking in confidence in their abilities. So, if you attack, you will have a fight on your hands. And it will not be an easy one.
You don't know.
Say again?
It might be. You don't know.
Might be. You don't know.
Don't challenge her.
Fuck around and find out.
We might be extremely brilliant with our plan, and they may not even know we're over there.
You are welcome to be brilliant with your plan.
Our plan is literally walk up and say, "Hey, we heard about a thing. We're from the guild. We want to buy it."
Yeah. Why is that a bad plan?
Did you explain that last part in character to anyone? We're
No.
with the guild? Okay.
Wait, no, I thought that was the plan. Wait, are we not supposed to mention that we're with the guild?
You haven't brought that part of the negotiations up yet. If that was your plan, that was the first time I've heard you say anything about it.
Cool, that's the plan currently. To show up, hey, we're with the guild. We want to buy the thing. We're authorized
Okay.
to speak. Yes, this is the part that she's saying out loud. Just like this is the plan.
You immediately hear Jess over your earring say, absolutely not. Do not tell them under any circumstance that you are with the guild. They will immediately attack you.
Why don't people start with this information before they send us into dangerous situations? Okay.
Well, I didn't think you would go up to a bunch of bandits and smugglers and say, hey, we're with the people that work with, the authorities on things. No, that would be stupid.
Well, then I don't know why why they brought our team in, because our team is really good at stabbing things, not talking to people.
Yeah, well, your team is also the only team that knows about the dragons, so it's fine. If things go to shit, I will help.
Oh, I feel so safe knowing that you are at my back.
You get no answer.
As expected. Cool. Was that it?
Yep. I will say Zeroka's distraction. You can kind of hear just like one or two people kind of wondering what's going on. And for a moment, you see what looks like a little head kind of pop up over the side, and it looks like a blonde halfling man is kind of like he's climbed up the fence a little bit, is poking his head around, and is kind of trying to look around. So I need Zeroka to roll a stealth.
Sure.
21? Yeah. Um, he's looking around and kind of just after a moment, it's like, I guess I didn't hear anything after all. Stupid owlbear's probably out there fucking or something. And his little head disappears. You kind of hear his footsteps. There's some kind of. It sounds like he's on some kind of hollow wood platform or something that he's jumped back down onto, and he's kind of walking off.
So what is the plan, gentlemen?
I'm hiding in the bush. Out of character, I'm hiding in the bush, and I'm gonna try to climb up to get close to the fence and maybe sneak my way in. If not, I'll stand right behind it to stab people if shit goes to go south.
Hell yeah! Give me that stealth roll.
Okay.
His stealth o'clock. Okay, with an 18.
I'm gonna want.
Yep. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna kind of go around the other side from the way the two of them are going, and kind of go over this way, like over to this little edge area, and try and be sneaky as well.
Okay.
Do I need another stealth?
Nah, you're all pretty stealthy at this point. You are
I'll
all
stealth
leaving.
anyway, Scott. Dang it! I was kidding.
You're all
I'm in
kind
the
of
bush.
leaving Kaylin to herself, but that's totally fine. Okay. I guess Kaylin, you're up. Fredman is going to kind of look nervous and says, "Well, a lot of people do tend to recognize me, and I think that would raise a lot of alarm bells. So, unless you need me to go with you, which I don't know if I would be much assistance with, negotiations, I might just hang back a little bit. But I will be ready to assist if something does happen. I could perhaps try to protect you, defend, as it were. But hopefully the negotiations will go well."
Today is the day that I die. Oh, the missus is going to be.
I was gonna say like right before Xander leaves, that he's just like he says something like don't be like me and tell a stupid story apparently.
Noted. Cool. Today is the day I died. The missus is going to be very upset, but whatever. And so Kaylin is going to just walk straight up the hill. Ooh, hold the phone. Because we used to work for the Bounty Hunter Guild. Who is a decently high? I need the name of a decently high-ranking member of the Bounty Hunters Guild.
Oh gosh, don't put me on this.
Yes, bitch, you started this shit, and they're leaving me to this, so this is your fault.
Lena Brycine.
You said Plena?
Lena L-E. Let me copy and paste that into the chat. She would be kind of one of the higher ups that you would have met, or at least seen in passing.
Mm-hmm.
Do I need to make all of my NPCs hot as fuck? No. Will I? Mostly.
Say diarrhea in the corner.
Dear Haley, I think is
Okay.
the artist. I definitely just found the art. I'm not gonna repost it anywhere else. I'm not using it for profit, so I'm also not going to ever erase any watermarks from artists.
Just at first glance, the kind of like diarrhea. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, before she gets up close, Kaylin is going to swap out the Adventurers Guild token for the Bounty Hunters Guild one that she just keeps on her just in case.
Okay. Just in case. That is
Just in
probably
case.
smart to hide
You
your
never- Affiliations? Yeah. It's like, I'm a bounty hunter. What the fuck do you want, man? Alright. So, she's going to walk up. Assuming the gate is closed.
Yes.
She's going to get till about 5-10 feet away from it and just hold on, let me get this straight.
Getting into character. I love it.
Yes.
Do it. Do what you gotta do.
Hey, knock knock. That's what we're doing. Hey, knock knock. Because you keep doing that other nonsense, and I'm gonna do it too.
You hear a few startled like, what the fucks from inside. And you finally hear the sound of plate mail. Someone walking in plate mail with heavy footsteps, walking towards the gate, and then slowly opening one of them. Let me see if I can just move this thing a little bit. There we go.
I see a sliver of
gate. Yeah. Well, I was trying to move it so that you like pretend he's just opening one of these two big doors that are like 5+ feet wide each. But he is only opening one, and you see this massive minotaur in kind of almost decorative but still very useful looking plate armor. And he's kind of staring down his nose at you. And
do I
he says,
recognize him?
No.
Okay. Damn it. I was hoping.
And
Continue
says,
ruining my dreams.
Why do you want to know him?
Because it'd be really interesting if she knows of him from the Bounty Hunters Guild.
You know what? Roll me a fucking history check. Let's see if you recognize him, because it's not like we have not established a photographic memory, and there would be just a lot of people. Like, it's a big ass wanted list, you know?
19.
19. You know what? Let me figure out.
The only person you can blame for this is yourself. And the rest of y'all for making me do this.
He looks familiar. I'm gonna say you notice some of the different markings on him. You can't quite put your finger on his name, but this is definitely a fucking criminal. That looking at him, you probably feel like he's probably not done anything recently. But maybe a few years ago. You're digging in the archives of your mind. This is an older bounty that's probably been out on this guy, and probably nothing big, so you're not sure of his name.
Okay.
But you know he's a bad enough dude that he's got a bounty.
Quick question, if I can ask. Since I'm up against the fence hiding this bush, is it safe to assume that I can see inside the camp now, or no? Since it's not really like a well fortified wall, it's just a bunch of sticks.
Think of it as kind of like a shoddier, like log cabin type fence almost. So like there's little gaps here and there between them. I would say you can kind of see in a little bit. So if you want to kind of move, I feel like you would be able to kind of like move around a little bit and peek in. If you want to move your token just a smidge past that little barrier. Here, I'll move your token just a smidge in so you can kind of see this. And you don't really recognize faces through like the little sliver as much. But you can kind of see what's going on inside to an extent. I think you're a little bit too far to recognize the Minotaur, but when you get closer, if you get closer to the Minotaur, you would probably recognize him as well, Ms. Wood.
Okay. Would it be safe to assume that I can kind of hug the wall and be pretty close to where he can't see me?
Yeah, he has no idea you're there. Nobody
Okay.
does. You are out of sight. You are in the bush. You are in the thick of it.
Okay. Would it be alright if I move like right here on this edge, right here, or no?
Yeah. I kind
Okay.
of imagine you're like creeping real low to the ground too.
Yeah.
And there are carts right inside and nobody on the other side of the carts. So you've got pretty good cover and there's tents over kind of to the other side. So you picked a real good wall to stealth up on.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would kind of recognize him as well. You can make a history check if you want.
All right. I mean, I have pretty shit intelligence. I'm not very smart, but we'll see.
It's worth 9. I mean, there's a handful of minotaurs on the bounty list. Something armor maybe, but you're not sure if that's still you don't know. Probably. This guy looks like a criminal.
Yes, a minotaur that's a criminal.
He's in a bandit camp, so like
Yeah.
this is not a legit sanctioned camp for a legitimate business. Most of these guys are probably criminals. You could probably take half of them in and get at least a couple gold each. Like but yeah, so this big old minotaur kind of stares down his nose and looks at Kaylin just confused, annoyed, like, and he says, "What do you want?"
Talk to whoever's in charge. I'm here for business.
That would be me.
Oh, neat. Fantastic. Sorry. Well, simply put, I am here on behalf of somebody else who is very rich. How this mofo finds out his information, I have no idea, and quite frankly, it ain't my job to ask that question. So, he has heard of some cargo and oh my god, what is the word I'm looking for? Parcels.
Now I gotta ask: is Kaylin doing Denmir's accent on purpose, or is that a Keo?
That is a Keo because it is one of the only other accents I can just drop into without really thinking about it. That's why I told you I hate you. That's why I told you I hate you, because it's like, no, with you talking in that accent, I want to just start using it, but I'm trying to keep the Eastern European one as much as possible before.
That's your personal choice.
And it's just more dramatic this way. Parcels that you have come into your possession. My client that I speak on behalf of is willing to pay money per head of the people in your camp for that particular item. Is it available for sale?
That particular item is already spoken for. How did you find out about it? And you see
Did
his
you not
hand kind of go to his weapon on his hip.
And for the record, everything she's saying is 100% true. Did you not hear me just say I have no idea how this motherfucker finds out his damn information? It is not my job to ask. My job is to do what I'm told, and what I was told was to come out here, speak to whoever's in charge of this establishment, and see about purchasing a thing.
Right. And if you are telling me the truth, what is to keep me from making sure one less person knows about this parcel?
You're welcome to try, but all I know is it's a parcel. I don't know. All I know is that it's colored black. I don't know what the hell it actually is. What part of I don't ask questions are you misunderstanding? Do I need to speak?
Deception check.
Do I need to speak in a different language? Hold, please. God bless high deception. 22.
Oh. You see his nostrils kind of flare just a little bit, and his ears flick backwards as he's listening to some of these guys in the background kind of talking among themselves. He says, "Right. And you were sent here alone to procure this parcel?"
I mean, I came here first. I'm pretty sure more people are coming.
"What do you mean by more people?"
More? Dude, I'm not. Again, I don't ask those types of questions. I was told to come out here and that assistance would be made available to me for it. I don't know who, what, where, when, and or how, which is legitimate because she has no idea where everybody else is. So, my job is to come here and offer you coin in exchange for whatever that item is, and to do my damnedest to convince you to go with my client's offer. And that is what I am going to be here to do. I'm not here to fight
Humor
you.
me.
I'm not.
What exactly were you willing to offer?
And Kaylin smiles. See, now you're gonna start. Now we're gonna get down to the dickering. Cool. So
The accent
you
is
don't-
killing me.
you're welcome. So you don't got to tell me exactly how much. However, what kind of a number in a ballpark, mind you? I'm trying to be honest here. I would hope that you would also be honest with me at least a little bit. This business, I understand. What ballpark number were you offered for whatever that parcel was? Again, you don't have to tell me exactly, but what kind of ballpark?
Less of a number and more of my boss wanted it, and I procured it for him.
See, you do understand where I'm coming from. I can respect that. Nate, so before I go any further, just in case I piss somebody off that I don't want to fight later, may I have the name of your boss and of yourself? I'm sorry. There's got to be something I can call you. I'm getting more and more southern as I keep going.
You really are. It is cracking me up.
You're welcome. She just dropped out.
Wow, my computer just shit itself. Sorry about
I'm
that.
gonna say you were saying Abby.
Where did it cut me off at? Everything just like froze up for a second.
Literally, as you started talking, you just dropped out. So just repeat whatever you were going to say.
I don't remember where I stopped. I was just like, what the fuck? He said he was something his boss.
No,
And then
so
you asked his
asked
name.
him for his name and or his boss's name, because there's got to be something I can physically call him besides just you. Again, trying to be polite.
You can call me Juno. For
No.
now. We'll say something like this parcel on the black market would probably go for 20, 30,000 gold, give or take. And then we're talking about risking my job and everyone else's job, so that starts to add up pretty quick, I would think. So what are we going to tell my boss when we come back empty-handed, when he's been looking forward to this parcel?
Did he say the name of his boss?
He did not.
Real quick, are we close enough to like be hearing this conversation? I know like we're like I don't assume they're talking super quietly. Can we hear this for the most part?
Oh, Kaylin is not quiet in the slightest.
Yeah, I feel like Kaylin's not being that quiet. Miz absolutely hears. Zeroka can probably hear a little bit from where he is, and Xander can probably hear at least all of Kaylin's and the vast majority of what the Minotaur is saying.
Gotcha.
And especially if Kaylin is broadcasting any of this over her earring, which is your choice. If you just want to like activate the earring and then have it being like broadcast all of basically everything you're hearing to everyone else as well.
Probably. She's probably actually just broadcasting it, so that way everyone is aware, just in case shit goes sideways. Or if somebody is going to do something else, she's trying to keep the little fucker distracted. So
Is it possible to the woods, like the walls of this camp, like are there like spots you can kind of like look in like between the wood and stuff?
Yeah, so you would be able to see, especially right now, and you see him kind of glance back. Do any of you speak Minotaur?
of course not.
I think I skipped linguistics class that day.
Nope.
little bit of a niche language. Xander, does Xander speak, or not Xander, Zaroka? You and your Z names. I need you all to.
Mine is not a Z name, thank you.
It is Xander Zaroka. It's the pronunciation. You're killing me.
Well, if he was Chinese, it wouldn't be a Z pronunciation, for the record.
Okay, well, it is what it is, and how we're pronouncing it here now. Does our resident wizard have anything that is allowing him to understand Minotaur?
No.
He kind of glances back and says something in Minotaur, just a few words, and you have no idea. And he says it in such a monotone, deadpan way. There is no inflection kind of implying any meaning behind it. So you have no idea what
But
he's saying.
But can I insight check that shit?
Absolutely.
Body language, ho! Natural fucking 20. And with the bonus, that's 24.
24?
Yeah.
If you had hackles, they would be raised right now. He is saying something that the shift, he doesn't move that much, but it's the slight curl at the corner of his mouth, and the way for just a moment everyone seems to be stopping and listening to what he's saying, and then multiple sets of footsteps begin to approach. You also go ahead.
I was gonna say at C, can I like so I can hear what's happening and I can see through like the cracks in the wall and stuff. So I'm seeing people start to kind of approach the.
People are perking up. People are kind of watching, waiting. Like he's basically just said something that has them all like, okay, boss.
Oh, well, if I'm seeing that, if looking through these cracks, I notice that like there's not anybody like literally like right on the other side of this wall. For me, I'm going to scale it and jump over because I know that there's like a tent or something right here that I can kind of like hide behind. So
Yeah, there's a big old tent right up there. Make a stealth check while you're doing it because there is one person up on that kind of extra ledge right there.
22.
22, yeah.
I do it.
Yeah, so you hop up and you're able to kind of get behind that tent without being detected. Anyone else doing anything, kind of hearing these words in another language that in this situation probably implies not a good thing?
Kaylin is going to very promptly just go, and just, that doesn't sound like this is about to go well.
Miz takes out kind of like, obviously very stealthily, unsheaths both of his short swords and is like, getting ready to basically attack if things go south.
Zaroka's actually going to move up towards right here, just like in.
Okay.
What does he see? If he can see through.
I'm gonna boop you just inside a little bit as you're able to kind of peek through the cracks. You get a little visual of what's going on within. But pretty much everyone is now looking towards the front gate.
Okay.
Is what's happening.
Gotcha.
Keep you kind of like right on the borderline right there so you can kind of see. But
Junior,
Yeah,
have I offended you in some way?
in a way, really, the offense is that you thought you could stroll in here without really offering any numbers or defense, and
You
thought
didn't.
that
You
you would
didn't give
live
me
here
an opportunity to give you a number. You rude person. You literally just told me your name, turned around and started shouting at people. I didn't give you a number.
I mean, he wasn't shouting.
Well, you just turned around and started talking to people. You didn't give me an opportunity to give you a number because I was authorized to do 50 ahead to start.
He busts out laughing in just this deep, hearty, bellowing laugh and says, 50 each. And he turns and looks at everyone and says, she thought 50 each. And there's like a couple of chuckles and a few laughs from the other people in the camp at this point.
I would like to use this like laughing and everything to do some more stuff real quick.
Absolutely do it.
Okay, so as soon as I like land and get behind this tent, I want to like quickly kind of like make a small little slit in the tent, like with my dagger, so I can like see if there's anything in the tent, like anybody.
It looks like there had been a person that had just kind of was stepping out and just keeping an eye on the situation, and it is that woman kind of at the opening of the tent there. She's a half-elf woman. She's dressed a little nicer than everyone else. She's also still armed, but her clothes make her look a little bit more refined, but she also does not look like she is unfamiliar with combat. The way she stands, the confidence she carries herself in, um, she knows how to hold her own. And yeah, I'm not going to make you roll another stealth with everyone kind of laughing and all the noise going on. I don't think it would be very possible for her to hear you.
Oh, well, with that, I am going to cut open the back of this tent and walk in.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks like a standard tent for a commander. A lot of this stuff has been packed up. A lot of it is just in crates, bags, ready to get moved. Obviously, somebody, a couple of people probably slept in here the night before. All the bedrolls are pretty much packed up, and it looks like everybody was about ready to go. It's hard to tell what's in all of the boxes and stuff.
I'm going to kind of try to move kind of quickly here, since I know time is of the evanescence. I'm going to kind of like I want to come up like behind this person in the thing and try and do a very like stealthy assassination / pull them into the into the tent. Like,
Okay. If you are doing that, I am gonna have her roll against it. Um, what is everyone else doing at this point? I will have you make another stealth check as you do that, and let me see if she um can tell what you're doing.
24.
24. Okay. What's everyone else doing?
Miz is staying put. He's still waiting. Just he wants to get the drop on his Minotaur if things go south.
Still staying put.
Xander
Kalen
just
is
has this
just
mindset that everything's about to go south anyway, so he's just going ahead and getting a head start on it.
Okay. Yeah, you do get the drop on her and kind of pull her back in if that is what you are trying to do.
Yeah, no, I'm going to try and kill her like instantly. Like I want to try and just end it.
Okay.
I do miss coup de grace. I wish they were something in 5th edition.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know if there's really what,
he does get sneak
like,
attack,
I mean, I'll get sneak attack and I'll have
instant
advantage on her
critical,
because she doesn't know I'm there and all that jazz. So
instant
yeah,
critical. Just murder the bitch.
we'll see how it
yeah.
goes.
Or as the gods, you can just go. I mean, yeah.
If you were an assassin, then you would get the assassinate built so you get crits on all hits.
Yeah.
Well, the first hit at least.
which is nice, but it's still not coup de grace. Coup de grace was stupid.
Right.
But yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Okay. Give me
That's
some.
24 to hit.
Yeah, that fucking hits.
All right. May I still, just for shits and giggles, use one of my inspirations to still try and get a 20 on this?
I'm gonna let you crit. You just snuck
Okay,
up on
cool.
her. She had no idea.
Cool. So it is a crit.
I might not let you do like an insta kill on her, but I'm gonna say you take out almost all of her health on this. Like she's gonna be bleeding out basically at this point.
So do I need to
Yeah.
roll critical damage?
Yeah, go ahead and roll critical damage.
Okay.
I wish there was a better way to do this in 5e, but yeah, I had her roll perception against you and everything, and she would not have been able, even with a natural 20, to beat that 24.
It was 23. Wait, no, that shouldn't be a +0 there. Hang on, let me. I'm using a new weapon. It's a weapon I've actually had on my character this entire time, but now I have the feat to use it. So, that should be 5 more than that. So it should be 28 damage on that on that one hit.
Yeah. So she is basically bleeding out, and I imagine you kind of like grabbed her and made sure she couldn't like scream or
Yeah.
anything when you pulled her back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is kind of in shock and is beginning to bleed out as you basically pull her back in and stab the fuck out of her.
Can I be specific so I can kind of still help my case in the future?
Yeah, what you got?
Just my skill as a rogue, sneaky type person, I would cut like exactly where her vocal cords are.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I'm gonna rule a cool this. Like you rolled real good. You're a fucking rogue. She was not ready. She was watching everyone and seeing, the front gate. In this specific situation, I'm gonna allow it. I did not have like a super OP NPC right there that's just like, haha, I've survived being stabbed in the neck. Like that would be silly.
I think I have my anti-stab proof backpack on or some shit.
Like this is my fuck you armor.
Well, I'm going to after do that, kind of like toss her down, and will immediately while I'll let other people do something here in like a second, but I'll immediately start seeing if since this looks like a commander's tent, try to see if I can find like keys or anything like that out and about.
You do not see any keys out and about. There's like some food out that was being kind of munched on while packing was happening. But you imagine something like this, the commander would probably keep it on himself, on his person.
Yeah, I think I will be getting ready to move, but I will let some other things happen.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. Who's doing other actions? What's Kaylin doing?
Kaylin, considering all this, and it's just like, yes, I know. That's why it's called a negotiation. That is my starting point. I can theoretically go up to maybe 400 or 500 gold ahead. But of course, it's again a negotiation. I'm not trying to give you all of my money, or correction, all of my boss's money. And as she's saying that, she's like being like ridiculous about it. But she's going to do a perception check on him to see if she can see the key on him.
Absolutely. Give me that perception check.
Woo! Okay, that perception is going to be 16.
16. He has a manner of things hanging off of his belt. Most noticeably the great sword that he has his hand on the hilt of. You hear it more than you see it clink up against his plate armor. He's definitely got a keyring on his belt. You're gonna have to take down this big guy if you want it.
Nope. We are going to continue to try to persuade. And she's just going to And what say you to 400 to 500 gold ahead? And she's watching him, and the moment he tries to attack her, she's going to use an ability to remove herself from the situation.
And you've got that much on you right now.
Of course not. What kind of dummy do you take me for? Walking out here in the middle of the dragon's back, going, I'm gonna carry around a couple 100,000 things of gold on me. Brr. Of course I don't have that much money on me.
Well, then how
And
are
also,
you going to get it to us?
oh my goodness, it's a negotiation. On your word that you will accept the offer, I will be able to use the sending sending thingamaboober to send a message to the person uh about you agreeing to exchange said gold for said parcel. But obviously, I'm not just going to give it to you, and I'm also not going to be the one to just give you the money. Do I look like I make that much? Really? Rude.
Make a persuasion check. Because you see the people have they're paying attention. A couple steps have been taken towards you. You know, things have been set down, so hands have been freed. But nobody is drawing weapons yet.
Is it persuasion?
Persuasion.
Another 22.
Another 22.
God bless Dispel dice. Those things are not weighted properly.
Says, all right. And how long would it take you to get that money if we said we were willing to take that offer?
I mean, I'd need to head back to the wizard folk that brought me here to take me back. Probably within a half hour to an hour. Because, the boss is going to want half now and half when it is actually delivered. Because none of us are stupid enough to just give you all the gold and expect you not to just murder us instantaneously. No offense.
Well, how much do you have on you right now as a show of good faith?
Oh, absolutely not. You think they give me money to walk around with and lose? I have a grand total of 5 platinum on my person, sir.
You said 500 each, right?
Per head.
He's kind of thinking about that, kind of waiting, pondering. You see the gears in his head churning, kind of scratches his chin a little bit, kind of glances back at one of his men, gives a little upper head nod and says, all right. And, say we take this. What are you gonna do with the parcel?
I don't know what it is. I assume he's gonna do something with it, but fuck if I know. Like, again, I am much like you. I am told to do my job and to shut my pie hole. Asking questions is how you get got.
And is your boss gonna be the one to come and meet you? I'd like to see what kind of person is taking this parcel. Or at least send one of my people. And he kind of looks back and he looks at the tent up on the hill and says, Julia, get down here.
That's the one that what's his face just killed. Also, please let the record show the ones most likely to stab did not do the stabbing.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious that that I wasn't on that list. But anyways,
You're not as I want to murder. I want to murder. There's a reason why we call Mr. Stabby Mr. Stabby.
Not on the outside. Anyway, so I hear him calling up to this area.
You hear him calling up for a woman's name. And you don't really remember seeing any other women in this camp.
Oh, very quickly, I pull out my voice changing lip balm and immediately start to put a ton of it on my top lip to make my voice higher.
Oh
and
gosh.
and I will try and do the most like feminine voice that I can, but I will intentionally try and like grunt it a little to just be like, and I want to yell down there. I'm not actually going to do a voice right now, but I'm going to be like having some personal issues at the moment. Just a second, but like kind of like be like grunty while I do it.
Oh no, give me a deception check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage. Come on, with all that.
Because you have no idea what her actual voice was. Please tell me it was actually
You
supposed to be me.
slit her throat before you had even a moment to hear what she sounded like.
Yeah, but that's why I'm grunting it and be like, oh, what a second, please. It was a 12 with disadvantage.
Oh boy.
19 with just regular.
He looks up at the hill, and everyone that has line of sight on him immediately sees his ears kind of lay back on his head, and he looks annoyed, and he says, he kind of grumbles something to himself, and then looks at Kaylin.
Kaylin is just as confused as he is.
Back up at the tent. He
Am I supposed to know who's up there?
pauses for a moment and says, "How many people did you say were coming?" He pulls out his sword.
I do believe I communicated to you multiple times that I don't know who's coming and I don't know how many of them there are going to be. I just know that I was not going to be alone in these types of communication matters. And if you are going to bring it to fisticuffs, sir, I will be certain to meet you with violence, although I would prefer not to, as I am a pacifist. Do you see any weapons upon my person? Give you a deception.
Deception check. Big fat deception.
Woo! That is gonna be a nice 10. Of course, now my
I
dice
was about
fucking
to
failed
say,
me.
you said like some kind of loaded ass number again. He says, "Well, seems like the other people are here. You wait right there, and we'll see if they're with you or not." And I think we're gonna leave that there.
One other thing I wanted to do real quick.
What's your one last thing? Give me one last action.
So I obviously could see what she looks like fucking bleeding out right here.
Yep.
I use my comb of hair shaping to make my hair look just like hers.
Wait. Okay.
Just kind of barely poke my head, just a little out the tent, and I'm just like, just sorry, boss, feminine issues. Just give me a minute.
Aren't you a dwarf? So when they just see your face instead of the elf,
I'm not a. I mean,
No,
I am an elf.
he's an elf. We
He's an
got three
elf.
Oh, he's
elves
an
and
elf.
a human.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I know my picture on D&D Beyond is a dwarf, but that's from another game. Like,
Okay, yeah, because that's why I looked
Yeah.
at. That's why I assumed you're a dwarf. Never mind.
yeah, I'm just hoping, it's far enough away. I'm just barely poking my head out with this long flowing hair. It's down in my face. I'm just like, feminine issues. Just give me a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna resume next week with rolling initiative.
Okay, so did we last longer before we got to violence? Technically, because the whole party didn't get to violence. He could grass somebody. So did we actually beat that other group? So how long before we got there?
You did, because the other group's negotiation lasted less than 1 minute.
Damn.
as like a I guess for next time for next week. Can I actually come out cover, because I'm assuming based on the conversation that is broken down pretty badly, would I be able to attack him and surprise the Minotaur? Or no? As he turns around when Xander basically says his line to kind of fool them.
I will give you that. We will still start basically with initiative. I will give you the surprise because he is turned and he is about to launch his own surprise attack on Xander. Spoiler alert.
Oh no, I think my use of mundane ass items to try and get this thing to work was pretty fucking smart.
Oh no, I didn't say he was gonna auto hit you or anything. I'm just saying he was just
I'm not
turning.
saying. Yeah, I'm not saying anything about like the sneak attack. I just thought me using the blip bomb and the comb to try and make this work. I thought that was
Oh, I
pretty
love it.
clever.
No,
Like-
I'm here for it. I love it. I've loved this. All right.
Hey, but at least we did not actually just go straight to the violence.
No, you did not.
Xander did, but hey, it's okay.
As far as Kaylin's narrative is concerned, she did not immediately go to violence, and it took a really long time before we got there. Because theoretically, he was going to, at the very least, entertain the idea. A win is a win. A win is a win.
Upon seeing these people from the heightened view, Xander pretty much at that moment was like, "Yeah, we're about to have to murder these people, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get ready for that."
Yeah, he might not have like an actual surprise attack against you. We'll see. That is next week on Dragon Calamity.
Z?
All right.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's more of a pun than I wanted it to be.
All right. Well, with that, give a good night, everyone. Gary, insert closing thing here.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
All right, everyone. It looks like I'm on a pizza plane on the pizza plane. Well, I guess jet is more accurate. I met up with the locals, and I think we're doing a bombing run on Burger Town. What are we doing here? Anyway, listeners, if you like what you heard so far, email us at critsandgrits@gmail.com. Send us questions, or follow some of the people that have helped us out so far, like Tithus. You can follow on twitch.tv/Tithus. Becky, you can follow on twitch.tv/sugarpuns. Jess, you can follow on twitch.tv/JessPanda. And you can also follow the MomoCon socials on MySpace, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have Jay, you can follow on twitch.tv/Rush918. Ducky, you can follow on twitch.tv/DuckyPlease. And Kyler, you can find at Fishing After 5 on YouTube. Someone get me out of here. I still got stuff to do. I haven't seen my home in like a week.